5. Bama. I was like, with 12 people? Surely. I
Yeah.
mean, the SEC is gonna be stiff though. So
Like Auburn can swing wildly one way or another, but I mean they've been so bad for a couple of years. The talent got so low because Doofus didn't recruit for 3 years, like at all, like zero. You might think I'm exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating, dude. Just like
yeah,
zero, zero. There is one guy left on the team from his last class 2 years ago. Of an entire recruiting class, one human left.
that's insane.
It is really,
Who was the one guy?
I forget. I think it all
I'd
backup
love to know who that guy is. Like, what's his story?
offensive lineman Braden Joyner is his name. Anyway, welcome in everybody. Thanks for being here. We're talking college football. I'm an Auburn fan. Will's an Alabama fan, and we stay cordial because mostly Alabama's just dominated for 2 decades.
Because mostly you don't want to see me in the fall.
Yeah, let's just avoid the subject altogether.
Nah, it's not like that. We're cordial.
But hey, they're starting to recruit again. They got a competent head coach that might know how to do anything other than the potato clan that came from Idaho. So that's good. So, all right, as you come in, share with us who is your favorite college football team, and if you don't have one, you can just say Auburn, and then you'll have an adopted team.
Oh man.
And if you need a favorite rival to hate, if you don't have one, you can just say Alabama, and then we'll just
Georgia.
Georgia. Georgia. Yeah, yeah.
Come on.
Legitimately, probably dislike Georgia more than Alabama at this stage after 2 decades of just getting our brains beat in.
Scott's got some Go Ducks. We got some Michigan fans in
No
here.
mercy. It's not none. It is if you don't have one, it's Auburn. There you go. You're done. You have an adopted team now. You can follow, and you can just be depressed like I am during college football season. Yeah, outside of a magic season every like 9 years that comes out of nowhere.
Here.
Buffs. Oh, come
Go
on.
Buffs. Colorado.
Definitely were not a Colorado fan 4 years ago. They just didn't exist.
All right, you got a winner with Marvin. Marvin said he's an NFL guy, so there you go.
All right, we got an Auburn fan. All right, we plus one. We're going now. That's fun. All right, welcome to everybody. As you come in, share with us where you're from and share with us your favorite college football team. And you can just put Auburn in there, and I will be happy and filled with joy. Where you're from, where you at? I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Will, why don't you give a quick intro to yourself? And then
And
Cody.
laugh out loud, Carol. No, I promise it's not about football. I won't talk about football anymore. I am in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm about a couple hours south of Bryan, and I have been alongside our team for almost the last 8 years. And I have taken more than 14,000 high ticket phone conversations, probably more than 7 or 8 or 9,000 based on the strategy we're going to talk about today. So I'm pumped to pour into you guys here today. How about you, Cody?
I was reading the chat.
Give us an intro. Where you from? What do
Intro.
you do here?
Yeah, I'm here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I run partnerships here at Growth Tools. So this is everything we're going to be talking about today is what I do day in and day out, and it's fun. I love it. So it's going to be a fun conversation.
And for everybody that got our college football talk in the beginning, here's the cliff notes. If you don't have a college football team, you're an Auburn fan, and you don't like Alabama. So just if you can commit to that, we can end the webinar here and think we got a lot of international people today. This is fun.
Carol has left the webinar.
Sure, I'm sorry. I have an Auburn podcast I listen to, and all the guys on it are big soccer fans, and they can give no more than 30 seconds, or everybody just turns off the podcast. Nobody cares. Anyway, all right. So today we're going to talk about I'm going to start with 2 parts today. I'm going to share a case study from last week for us. And this isn't meant to brag, anything like that. Very much the opposite. It's more meant to show you the simplest marketing channel I've ever found for attracting high ticket coaching clients. And actually, by the way, pause real quick. I put 6 in the email, but I went back and counted today and it's 5. We'll probably get another 1 or 2 out of this, but I put 6 in the email, but it's really 5 high ticket clients. At any rate, I'm going to start with a little short 5-minute case study of our main marketing channel and an instance of it being used last week. Last Wednesday, we used it, and we've gotten 5 high ticket coaching clients from it in the last 7 days. So today's Thursday, last Wednesday, last 7 or 8 days, depending on how you can. So I'm just going to walk you through the details of it, show you how it worked, and then we're going to zoom out. I'm going to teach you the channel thoroughly so you can understand it, and then you can potentially adopt that as the channel you want to use to sell your high ticket coaching program. Does this make sense? Everybody in? Everybody tracking with the 2 parts? Part 1, I'm going to show. Part 2, I'm going to tell. First, I'm going to show you, then I'm going to tell you how it works, and we'll be interactive all throughout and kind of lay down some ground rules and everything as we're going on. Everybody tracking? If you're tracking, you're excited, put excited in chat so I know you understand what I'm saying, and then it makes sense. Will, Cody. We haven't done a case study at the beginning of this training before, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, this is like you said there's only been 5, but like there's like 3 people who are probably in before tomorrow. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's an ever evolving case study. Yeah.
We put like a 90-day attribution window on any cold acquisition channel like this. I wouldn't be surprised if we had double digits within 90 days on this one. So first off, actually, we'll save the words because it's a lot to consume. So we use a sales channel, and all of y'all are coming from our email list, by the way. This is a pop-up workshop. We just sent the first 2 emails out today. So if the only people that are here are people that had a clear schedule and were able to jump in quickly because we didn't really plan this one too far ahead of time because we wanted to share this case study with you, walk through the details of how it worked because we haven't trained on this in a while. So the sales channel we use is called BOPA, and BOPA stands for borrowing other people's audiences. I'm going to walk you through the details of how it works. But first, I want to share this case study with you. Last week, we borrowed the audience of this company. The website is called Seed Time. And Seed Time, you can just, this is just a screenshot I took this morning of their homepage. We help Christians live financially free and impact eternity. So a hardcore Christian focus and personal finance. That's their focus. Now, they sent an email to their list saying, hey, you should come and learn from our friend Brian, who's going to teach you a part of personal finance, which is making more money. Because a lot of people in their audience own a business or interested in side hustles or something like that. And what we do, by the way, I'm going to pause here. This is not a super efficient telling of the story, but I'm going to share real quick what we do and then show you what they do and show you how it matched up. So if I were going to describe growth tools, what we sell a coaching product called Growth University. It's a monthly coaching service. We make it nearly impossible to fail at getting more customers for high ticket coaches. And we do that by borrowing other people's audiences. Our coaching costs $1,000 a month, $6,000 setup fee to get started. So that's what we do. Now, we borrowed the audience of a Christian finance company, meaning like Dave Ramsey, but hyper focused on the Christian audience. So the angle there is they send an email to their audience saying, hey, if you want to make more money in your business or start a side hustle so you can pay off your debt and save and invest and give and et cetera, then come learn from Brian. He's going to teach you how to do that. So that's the email they send out. They have an email list. They send an email out saying, hey, come learn from Brian. Now, the reason they did that is they needed good content for their audience. They have a blog, they have an email list, and they always want more stuff from it. So we reached out to them and we said, hey, we'd love to come teach your audience how to make money in their business or how to start a business doing coaching. Is that something that I'd be interested in? They said, yes, we would like to do that. So they sent a couple emails to their list. The emails they sent to the list went to a lander like this, where they could grab the trainings and bonuses. And also on that page right below the fold down here is a link to schedule a call with us. So, hey, you can get this tool, free training video. Right below here, here's a scheduler. Go schedule a call with us. Okay, is this the basic outline make sense? They have a blog and an email list about personal finance. We have a coaching company that helps people grow a coaching company, help you start a high ticket offer and get clients for it. So those things match due to that. They promoted us, our training and tools to their audience. When people clicked a link on that email, they went to a page that looked like this. They scheduled a call with us. Is the flow make sense? Step 1, they sent an email. Step 2, they went to this page. Step 3, some people scheduled calls. Step 4, we had calls with those people and a handful of people hired us. Give me a yes in chat if this basic funnel makes sense at all. I feel like I'm explaining it kind of complicated, but hopefully this is tracking here.
No, I think you're good.
Yep,
Everybody's got heads.
okay.
Yeah.
Here's the results. I don't know the exact numbers, a little over 700, I think. I rounded down. 700 people opted in. 54 people booked sales calls with us, meaning when they clicked the link in the email and went to this page, they went to this scheduler and picked a time and scheduled a call. Okay. 21 people picked up the phone when we called them. So kind of a crappy show up rate, to be honest. We could fix things there. By the way, Will, as a total side note, we should do the text 5 minutes before with a Zoom link for all of our sales calls.
Well, we're not always on Zoom.
We maybe should be for that reason alone. Anyway, I was talking to Pip a while ago and that came up.
Yeah, maybe so. But also, I think that show up rate is so bad because we had too many bookings when just like
it is. But just
calendars. But yeah, I'm tracking for sure.
That works so well for the webinar. By the way, side note, we pull back the curtain. This is totally out of order, but since y'all are here in a small crowd, we had like a 20% show up rate to these webinars. Cody stayed up to 1 a.m. 2 weeks ago or a week ago, trying to add in text message reminders to Zoom so that 5 minutes before the webinar, y'all get a text, and it increased our show up rates from that 20-25% number to over 50%, but just one text message 5 minutes before. So how many, I'm curious, did y'all get the text message 5 minutes before? So the dots I was connecting there was that increased webinar show up rate so much that if we did it for a sales call, it could probably increase the sales call show up because it's just easy. You don't have to find the email, the calendar reminder. You literally get the text, click the button, and you're there. Just super simple. Yeah, so all y'all got it. And we had really good show. Like there's 100 people registered for this webinar and 60 of you are here. 60% show up rate for webinar, which is utterly absurd. And it's very simple. You just text the link. Like that's the whole thing, not the reminder emails and all that stuff. Anyway, so just total side note. When you find a thing that works, try to apply it to every place where the fundamental principle still exists. So another fundamental place that show up rate matters a lot is the people that book the calls and show up to the calls. Okay, back to the point here. 700 people opted in, so we got 700 new email subscribers. 54 people booked sales calls, 21 people picked up, and 5 people have hired us and given over $25,000 of revenue. We expect this to probably double over the next month or two because sometimes people just take a minute to make a purchase decision. This happened last week. Last Wednesday, they sent the emails. Today is Thursday, and we've had 5 new high-ticket clients pay us over $25,000 in revenue. This is called borrowing other people's audiences. I'll define the term because the rest of the training I'm going to teach you how this works, give you more case studies, give examples and specifics on how to do this. Borrowing other people's audiences is when you provide a resource, these are the resources we provided, to someone else's audience and they promote you to their audience. Okay? Just tracking. BOPA is the acronym for that. Borrow other people's audiences. Okay? So I want to show and tell today. That's the show. This is our case study from the past 7 days. Now, the rest of the webinar, I'm going to tell you how this works and give you examples and equip you so that you can decide if you want to use this to attract high-ticket clients for you. Okay? So before we do that, one tradition we have as a company is we do 2 things before we start any meeting, including webinars, full team meetings, one-on-one meetings, department meetings, any meeting we have, we do 2 things. First, we decide what the objective of the meeting is. So everything in the meeting flows through that. And at the end, we can decide, did we accomplish the objective or not? Because the last thing you want is to waste an hour with me or waste 10 minutes in a meeting. The second thing we do is clear the fear out of the room so that we can be just very creative. If you have a bunch of fear about this might not work, or I don't have value to add, or I don't know how to market, or blah, blah, whatever the fear is, that's fine. Acknowledge it, clear it out. So I'm going to walk you through 2 exercises that ideally would take less than 10 minutes to do. Okay, everybody up for that? Question 1, objective. My hope for you is that by the end of this webinar, you can have a moment of like a major aha moment that becomes a paradigm shift for you or not, for you to accomplish the most important thing in your company. The reason that your company exists or wants to exist. Okay, so that's maybe the background. I want you to answer this question in chat right now. By the end of 2024, what is your monthly revenue, or let's actually just cut the monthly number. What is your revenue goal? How much profit, meaning you took it home in your bank account, do you want to have made by the end of this year? And second question, what would that make possible in your life as a result? So put those 2 answers in the chat. And some of you might have been on webinars. We host these typically weekly on different topics. So some of y'all, we typically start every webinar with this question. So if you already have it, put it, reiterate it. If you've been on one of these before, you likely have it written down on a piece of paper in front of your monitor. If you don't, this is your reprimand. So what is your revenue goal and what would that make possible in your life? Put it in chat. Let me see. So Jill said 200K, easier life, more marketing, hire someone else. Tell me more, Jill, about easier life. Specifically, what is that? Hire a house manager, hire a chef, get a lawn mowing. Like, what in your life would be easier? Brenda, $5,000 to start a savings account. Good. What do you want to save for specifically? Andre, 120K, less worry. What would you worry about less, Andre? Get just 1 click more specific with that. Jill, 250K. I'd be able to help some people, help more people. Who would you help and how would you help them? Brenda, thank y'all for sharing, by the way. Jill, housekeeper. There you go. Dog walker, more vacations. 100K, supplement my day job. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Second step, put it in chat. Y'all are doing that good. Second thing, write it down. Write the goal, $100,000 or whatever your number was, and the reason for the goal right below it. And keep that in front of you. Put it on your desk. I'll prop this paper up on my desk. Tape it to the monitor. Make it the lock screen of your phone. Here's the reason why. At least for the next hour, but ideally for the next year, for the next 2 years, that goal is in front of you. I guess through the end of the year, because the end of the year goal. That goal is in front of you. Every action you take, every idea you have can filter through that why into that what. Is this the most efficient, simplest path to accomplish that why, to hire the housekeeper, to make the 50 grand? Marcy said 25K to pay off debt and the money up to travel and play. Good. So write 25K on the piece of paper and write that reason below, to pay off debt and to travel and play. And I would encourage it. Where do you want to travel? Write that down. To go to Europe, to pay off my debt, make 25K. Perfect. Because today and through the rest of the year, I want you to filter your decisions through that. Is this the thing that will get me there? Is this the most efficient path to that? Okay. So we've calibrated the meeting to our goal. You have your goal written down. You have your reason why written down. Second thing I want to do is clear the fear out of the room. So if you have your goal and you have your goal and your reason why in front of you, and you're making good decisions in that direction, the only thing that can get you way off track is fear yelling in your ear constantly, telling you, you can't do that. You're not good enough. You can't pay off your debt. Your mom's in debt. Your dad didn't do it. That business failed. You don't have anything you can provide that much value for, and stuff like that. Because man, if that's in your ear all the time, like it is really hard to actually make good decisions and be creative. And you need a lot of creativity to hit your goal. Okay. So I'm going to do an exercise right now. We do this before every meeting starts in earnest. We say a quick prayer and we ask God to bring to mind the number one fear we're experiencing right now, and then to tell us what's true about that thing. So you can pray, you can meditate, you can just be quiet. Pick your poison. But I'm going to set a 1-minute timer and be quiet. We're going to all sit in awkward silence for a minute and let that number one fear come to mind for us. We're going to say it out loud, put it in chat, and then we're going to ask, what's true? If that's the lie, what's the truth? Man, I don't have anything valuable to add. What's true? You have exactly what you need, or whatever that might sound like for you. Okay? Everybody good? Cody, Will?
Yep.
All right. So I'm gonna set it. Oh, here we go. All right, 1-minute timer. This might be the first time we've ever done anything like this. If so, just sit in the awkward. It's okay. This is one of the most powerful things we do. It's fantastic. So 1 minute, I'll say a prayer for us. God, we ask right now that you bring to mind for us, what is the number one fear, the number one lie that we might not even be aware of right now, but we're living through and that we're experiencing? Can you just bring that to mind for us? And write that down on a piece of paper if you want to. I tend to do that myself. And God, in the last 30 seconds, we ask you to bring to mind what is actually true. If that's the lie, can you tell us what is really true? All right. I'll go first as way of example. And I invite, not required, but invite everybody to share in chat what was the fear, what was the truth. Because I'll go first. My fear was, I'm not good enough. I was sitting with it like, good enough for what? It was like, nothing came to mind. I'm just not good enough. That was the fear. That was the lie. And I asked, what's true? And I got, you have me, and together we're unstoppable. So I can live my day and have many days through that thought loop of I'm not good enough. I'm trying to prove my worth. I'm trying to earn my worth. I'm trying to like overcome it, or not even trying because I've just accepted I'm not good enough. Or I could live the rest of my day through the lens of together we're unstoppable. And one of them is going to lead me to a certain kind of decision, and the other ones are going to lead me to drastically different decisions and creativity. Tracy, I'm going to run out of time, or my family are going to run out of time before we experience the business breakthroughs I'm capable of. Time is limited. What's the truth? Is it time is unlimited, maybe? Mira, I'm not smart enough. Truth, all things are possible. Yes. Brenda, I'm 200 pounds, but I'm not good enough to tell anyone. Hmm. My fear, Ophelia, it won't happen for me because it never does. Hmm. That's, boy, I've heard that one before. Father of lies, by the way. God wants me to prosper and give me the vision. It will happen if I don't give up. Amen. Marcy, truth, I have the education and experience behind me to offer my services, which are valuable and needed. All right, Will, you want to share one of yours?
Yeah, I had a bit of a fear around leaving. I'm leaving. I will be out for the next week, and I don't do that often. I don't leave for a week often, and I feel like everything's gonna crumble, and the
Hmm.
team's gonna need me, and they're not gonna be able to get and do and hit goals and targets without me being there. And the one thing I heard was just rest.
Hmm.
That was truth. Like just rest.
Yeah,
Stop worrying about it. It'll be fine.
that's good. Brenda, I feel like I have to read this because I think I misread the first one. I lost 200 pounds and I'm afraid to tell anyone. So what's the truth? Fear, no one wants what I have to offer. Truth, this is Noel, while I might not know everything, I'm further along in a journey than some and can help them. Yes to that. This is good. Y'all keep posting these. These are really, really good. All right, so let's go to the meat. I'm going to give you in the rest of this 5 keys to sell your high ticket offer. So what we did with Bob and Linda last week with Seed Time, you can do. There is nothing special about me. It is very basic. So I'm going to kind of share, maybe as a way to start, how I discovered this marketing channel, because I've tried lots of things over the years, guys, like so many things. And sometimes I find a thing that works and I kind of forget about it. So I do a bunch of stupid stuff for years. And then I come back to the thing that works. And I'm like, oh, dang, why did I stop doing that? That was really stupid. And this has been similar. Um, so years ago, I accidentally found Bopa. I did not discover, I was actually actively pursuing other marketing channels, trying everything I could find online, reading blog posts, trying them, reading blog posts, trying them, reading courses, getting courses, books, podcasts, Seth Godin, Gary V, Ramit Sethi, studying them, understanding them, trying to reverse engineer them. And then out of the blue, uh, this just accidentally happened. I get an email from a guy one day. I was in his Facebook group and he said, hey, Brian, because I've been posting in the Facebook group my progress on different marketing things I was trying. He said, hey, I just saw that you posted about getting your first 100 email subscribers. Could you make a resource teaching my audience how to do that? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. So I wrote up a guide on how to get your first 100 email subscribers. And this is it. And the guy, his name is Noah Kagan. Some of y'all might know him. He had a big email list of 100 and, or no, there's 50,000 people at the time. And Noah took the guide that I wrote and emailed it out to his entire audience. And that added over 2,000 email subscribers to our list and generated over $100,000 in sales, all from Noah having an audience and promoting me to his audience. It was the simplest thing I'd ever done. Like instead of me having to go build an audience, instead of me having to build all this trust and everything, I just wrote a guide and Noah promoted it. So then my brain goes into fast action of like, okay, well, what just happened here? How did that work? Can I do more of it? And it turns out, yes, that's exactly what happened with Bob and Linda last week. So when I went out and started teaching this, one of my first clients we taught this to was a guy named Ryan McRae. And Ryan helps people who struggle with ADHD live a normal life and be productive. And he has this guide called Finding Peace with an ADHD Mind. And he partnered up with a guy named Chad. And Chad helps authors write books. 2 seemingly unrelated audiences, a guy who helps ADHD people and a guy who helps authors write books. Now, as it turns out, authors procrastinate on writing books a lot. Some of them due to ADHD, some of them due just to basic productivity stuff. So Ryan reached out to Chad and was like, hey, man, I'd love to share with your audience this guide on being more productive. Would you be open to that? Well, Chad says yes. So Chad promotes Ryan's resource, and as a result, Ryan gets 416 new subscribers and 10 new clients. So I'm like, man, it worked with Noah accidentally. He asked me. I was able to teach somebody. So Ryan does this with Chad, and his list blows up, and he gets a ton of clients as a result of it. Here's what this looks like in action. Like here's the funnel. It's very, very simple. The client, Chad in this case, or the partner, Chad in this case, sends this email to his list. My friend Ryan has a cool resource that helps you stay focused so you can write your book. Click here to get the guide and other productivity emails from Ryan, and you'll get a special bonus when you do. This is the email Chad sends to his audience. When they click that email, they go to a page. It's like, hey, here's your resources. By the way, I'd love to talk to you and help you with this. Schedule a call. So from that, 416 people got the resources and 10 people scheduled calls and hired Chad as a result of that, or hired Ryan as a result of that. The magic here isn't a funnel. It isn't copy. It isn't having the perfect resource. It is deep personal connection. Here's what I mean. Noah, back to my origin example, Noah had a list of 50,000 people that deeply trusted him. He had written emails and written blog posts for a decade. So those people were firmly connected to Noah. Some of y'all are that with me. Some of y'all have been on our list for a long time. Some of y'all are brand new to us. So there's varying degrees of connection, even just on this webinar right now, of people that have known me and followed me for a long time. When Noah promoted me to his audience, I didn't have to go build that deep personal connection from scratch. I just stepped into his sphere of deep personal connection he had already built, and that transferred to me. So when people hire a coach, when people buy a product of any sort, especially one that's expensive, it requires trust. And when you borrow other people's audiences, the trust that that person has gets transferred to you, and making the sell is easy. Because you're not like, imagine you're on a cold Facebook ad. Somebody clicks on the ad, comes to your sales page or whatever. It's like, they don't know you. They were scrolling and looking at cat memes 3 seconds ago. Now they're on a lander for book a call with me or buy my $50 whatever thing. And it's like, they don't know who you are. They don't care. It's pure arbitrage for them. But when Noah says, hey, when Bob says, hey, come check out my friend Brian's webinar, I trust him. He's going to teach you how to do X, Y, Z. 700 people register, show up, and deep personal connections there. They get the guide. They come there and they trust you. This has been the thing that has made all the difference for us. It's the secret sauce for us. It's led me to it's led to coaching relationships with Michael Hyatt, Amy Porterfield, Josh Axe of Ancient Nutrition. All these are big companies in our space that are well respected. I didn't know them. Nobody knows about me at all unless somebody tells somebody else about it, unless we borrow an audience and they learn about me. These coaching relationships, clients, came as a result of borrowing other people's audiences. It wasn't because I'm great at marketing. It isn't great I'm a great copywriter. It isn't about any of that stuff at all. So here was my realization. There are two, and this took way longer than it should. And one of my passions is sharing this with you so that you can see it way before me. And you can get to the point way quicker, which is be able to get clients so you can do the thing you love, which is coach people. So there's two distinct marketing channels. One of them is what almost everyone teaches. I taught it for years. Go build your audience. Go build your Instagram following, go build your list, great sales scripts. You better have the funnel hacker of the year, 2 comma award thing. Like, you better become a world-class marketer. Lots of content, lots of emails, lots of funnels. You have to be great at all of that if you're going to use this as their marketing channel. How many of you are on this path right now? Type build your audience in chat if that's you. That was me for the first 10 years of this company. And hey, there's nothing wrong with this stuff. It's great. Do this stuff. But using this as your primary marketing channel is a trap. The other approach is to borrow audiences. Instead of trying to build them yourself, borrow your audiences. Share your resources. Share your training. Connect deeply with people. Actually enjoy the process. You don't have to be a world-class marketer. How many of you, if Bob at Seed Time sends you 700 new email subscribers and tells them all, hey, go schedule a call with Nana, with Drew, with CL, with Will, with Tanya, because they can help you. And you had 54 people perfectly primed to talk to you about your offer. Any of you could close 5 people. That ain't hard. You don't have to be a mega salesperson for this. You have somebody they deeply trust saying, hey, go hire them to do this thing. That's the easy part. But man, if you're trying to funnel hack your way to that, that's actually difficult. So I would like to invite you into, in the remainder of the webinar, let's explore what it looks like to borrow audiences, not build them. Now, the cool part is As a part of Barn Audiences, you happen to build an audience at the same time. Like we get 700 new email subscribers, but I didn't go like write the perfect emails and have the squeeze page and the funnel and all this crazy stuff to do it, or buy Facebook ads or do Instagram bots and all that stuff. That's all I did. Now, the cool thing is I love pulling things down to absolute first principles. This is what Jesus did. Jesus told the people he trained, he said, hey, just go to the town. This is Luke 9 and Luke 10 when he commissions the 12, commissions the 70. He's like, go to the town, find a person of peace, stay there, minister to them, love on them, and then teach them what you got to teach them. Just a handful of people. Go and borrow the audience of the house in the town. Go find that person and be there, and they'll bring the people to you and just love on them, and everything will take care of itself. There's an interesting quote Paul says in 1 Corinthians 2:4. He said, my message and my preaching were not with wise and persuasive words. I didn't have a fancy sales presentation. My email copy kind of sucked. My sales script was not optimized, and that was okay. I relied on the demonstration of the thing. I set up in a town with a person that we connected with. They brought their people there, and I didn't have a fancy presentation. My funnel kind of sucked, but I just demonstrated to them by people that were brought to me what to do. It's hard to screw that up. You can, but it's hard. So here is my goal in the remaining 40, 50, 60 minutes of our time today. I want to invite you into a decision. Feels too definitive because I don't want you to feel pressured at all. This is like literally the opposite of pressure, but I'll use the word decision. I guess I'll use the word clarity here. Which marketing model is for you? And you don't have to commit to anything at all, but I want you to be clear at the end of this webinar, and I'll invite you into making a decision and dating one or the other. Are you going to lean in towards building an audience, which is the path almost all of us are on, or do you want to lean in towards borrowing an audience? Which one at the end of this do you lean more towards? So Cody threw up a poll. Are you interested in what borrowing other people's audiences look like? Oh yeah, still skeptical. Big nope, I'm out. Okay, so I want some people to be out by the end, by the way. I want to describe this and show you how this works so that some people are like stiff arm, which is great. Like that means you need to go down the build your audience path. Or you're leaning in towards borrowing, which means you should probably go down that path a little bit more. And I'll give you some very practical things you can do to make that happen.
Yeah, and I think, Brian, it's important to note, like, there are a lot of people out there who don't crave relationship and don't want to connect. And that's okay. Like, play to your strength. So if you are like, no, man, I could sit here and connect with this chair about what I do, you should consider borrowing other people's audiences and connecting with other people's audiences and going the relational route. But if you're like, no, I literally want to poop myself, when I look at somebody and I think about shaking their hand and meeting somebody new, then maybe you should take the like create and build route, right? So just diagnose yourself and then see how that feels at the end of this webinar. Yeah.
100%. A couple of comments in chat I'll address real quick before we get into the keys. I just want to lay out 5 keys to you. If you're going to do it, you need these 5 keys for the thing to work. So I'll kind of walk you through each one, give you examples and some things that hopefully are helpful. Drew, you said, I don't know God wants me to prosper. I don't have expectations like that. That my salvation comes from luxury. Why would I be deserving of blah, blah, blah? So you need to sit with that, Drew. Ask God that question. I just encourage you to do that. Go read the Sermon on the Mount to what Jesus said, and you get into weird prosperity gospel stuff, which is the exact opposite of everything I'm about to say. So do not conflate what I'm saying with that. He wants you to be a bright light in whatever unique way that looks like for you. What I'm confident in saying, and you go talk to God about this, he doesn't want you to have a failing, struggling business. That's not his endpoint for you. That is the opposite of a bright light. A bright light means more than the state of your business, by the way. But he wants you to be something so remarkable that people say, what's happening there? And you say, bro, this is just all Jesus. I can tell you is that. I'll give you mechanics of how that works for me, but like, that's just him. That's what happened with Solomon, by the way. Solomon screwed a bunch of stuff up. But what he did was so different that the Queen of Sheba is like, bro, I got to come check that out. What are you doing? Like, how does that work and that work and that work? And he's like, bro, just let me walk you through how this works. Like, this is just all God. I got to tell you about that. So you go sit with that. That's a bigger, deeper theological conversation than we're up for here, but I'm happy to engage with that. He does want you to win. And he does want people to remark on that and be drawn by you winning. What you winning looks like, that's between you and God. Y'all need to work that out. He doesn't want you to be suffering and in pain and to be of dim light. Now, for Paul, that looked like being in prison and writing half of the New Testament from it. So that's a you and God conversation. Yeah. Cool. All right. So let's go through the 5 keys. Did I butcher that, Will? How did I do there?
No, it's good.
Yeah,
I think it's
good.
great. I think you should be heard, Drew, and you are heard,
Totally.
but not just by these ears, like by the almighty ears,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, dude. Yeah.
And Nana, I think I butchered your name earlier. Anyway, BOPA stands for borrow other people's audiences. So the 5 keys of borrowing other people's audiences, which is the main meat of what we're talking about today. You have 2 different primary ways you can acquire clients for your business. You can build an audience or you can borrow an audience. What I have found is this is really easy to screw up. This is really hard to screw up. This requires you to be a master marketer. This just requires you to optimize for deeply connecting with other humans, just like Jesus did.
And
just
not
like,
only a master marketer, Brian, a master salesperson too. Like
that's right.
that
Yeah.
crap is hard. It's so much easier just when people show up and they're like, "Can you tell me about what you do?" I would be happy
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Will, that's a big part of it. That's easy to do. So walk through today. Let's walk through these keys, Will, and you can ask that question at the end. So key number 1, people are actively trying to find and promote you already. Like you might be thinking like, why would someone want to promote me? There's probably no one out there that wants to promote me. Like it is the opposite. The truth is the opposite of that. People are actively looking to promote you to their audience already. Let me literally screenshots. I brought the receipts. This is in a group. I pulled samples from Facebook groups and different groups we're in. This is Claire. I was a coaching company. I'm searching in the group for partnerships. We are all right for partnership. Like, let's do this together. Like, I want to partner with you to promote you and you to promote me. Let's do it. She's searching for people right now. Another example from a Facebook group. We're still looking for more speakers for the Rise Above Summit. They want to promote you in their summit. Another example from Kim. He has a list of 10,000 people, parents and therapists and special educators. Do you want to do a swap? I promote you, you promote me. You come give me a lead, give me your resource. I'll promote your resource. Here's my resource. You promote it as well. The creator economy is exploding. By creator economy, I mean the number of humans who are creating content on Instagram, on their email list, on YouTube, on podcasts is exploding. Look at the graph. This is like 3 years old, taking off. What that means is all of them need content. Cody, on the webinar here, has a personal newsletter. Every week, he directly promotes other people on his newsletter because he needs content. Look at this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different people he's promoting in one newsletter because he needs people to promote. All these people, that's why. They need good content for their newsletter. And writing content from scratch is not easy. It's much easier for Bob, instead of writing a 2,000-word blog post or recording a 1-hour podcast, for me to come and share some good resources with the audience. He doesn't have to do any work for that. So the win for Bob is he gets great content for his newsletter. The win for me is, we picked up $25,000 or more in sales and 5 clients and 700 new email subscribers. I serve Bob's audience. Bob's audience gets served by me. So key number 1 is realizing people are so actively looking for good content to share, good resources to share, that they're posting online publicly looking for you right now. Question is, and I'm going to give you a resource to do this in the end, do you know how to find them? So I'll give you a resource at the very end. That's the Partnership Discovery Cheat Sheet that'll help you and give you the exact search queries to put into Google right now to find people. So stay to the end, I'll give you that resource. All right, key number 2. You might be thinking, okay, borrowing other people's audience seems way simpler than building it. Yes, it is. And I get how people are actively looking for me right now, and we could swap resources, but like I don't have an audience at all. And by the way, I'm curious right now, put in chat right now the number of email subscribers you have on your list. No shame. If it's 0, put 0. If it's 5, put 5. If it's 100, put 100. How many email subscribers do you have on your list right now? 0, 150, 800, 2,700, 60, 60, 11,000, 6,000, 50, 2,500. Good. Good. Yeah, sweet. I don't see how the person who promotes you benefits. Yeah, good. So I'm going to answer that question right now. Your expertise is the thing that matters, not your audience size. One of the best examples I have of this is Dr. Phil. So in Late 90s, Dr. Phil, nobody knows who he is. He was a marriage and family therapist. But Oprah found out who he was. And Oprah at the time was the equivalent of Joe Rogan today. It was the most popular talk show, interview show in the world was Oprah. And Oprah isn't a mom, so she's hard to do parenting counseling stuff or talk about that topic. So she went out and found somebody she trusts, Dr. Phil, had Dr. Phil on the show. As a result of that, millions of people in the world who trusted Oprah deeply, they watch her every day, discovers Dr. Phil. Now Dr. Phil has the longest running show in daytime TV right now. Robert Kiyosaki is similar. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Who knows Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book, Robert Kiyosaki? No one knows who that guy is. He goes on Oprah. He sells 5 million copies of his book as a result of his appearance on Oprah. He goes from totally unknown to totally known. Dr. Phil didn't have an audience. He didn't have an email list. Robert Kiyosaki didn't have an audience, didn't have an email list. But what they had was the solution to a problem. They had their expertise. My expertise is in helping you get clients for your coaching business. I can talk about that. I suck at a lot of things. But if Oprah called me, if Joe Rogan called me, he's like, hey, I want somebody on the show to talk about how to grow a coaching business. He would not do that. That doesn't make sense for a show, but I could go talk about that. The only thing I can provide to Joe is good content. I have that. I can talk about my experience and how we do that. I can't grow Joe's audience. So the thing they want is good content because they want to nurture the audience relationship that they have. And the best way to do that is bring other people and other resources in that are experts in their area. So the thing I provided to Bob, I didn't grow Bob's email list. I sent 0 emails and promoted Bob 0%. So if we go back to our case study that we opened with, the only thing I provided to Bob's audience was expertise in an area that he doesn't have and that his audience wants. That's all Dr. Phil provided to Oprah's audience was expertise in an area that her audience needs and wants. Not audience growth. It's not about how big your audience is. It's about, can you help someone solve a problem? Have you solved that problem at least for yourself? If so, you can crush it with BOPA. So key number 3. Go ahead, Cody.
Just slight weedsy little detail that might fill in the last gap for anyone who's still confused about like, but why would they share your stuff? Shows like Oprah, whether it's a TV show, whether it's a YouTube channel, whether it's a email newsletter, all of these people who create content or entertainment or education for the world usually are on a regular schedule. Like, for example, my newsletter, I send out an email every Tuesday. And anyone who's, created content for a while knows that you start to run out of ideas. It starts to get really hard to come up with stuff. And so that's when you start outsourcing ideas, essentially, is what you're doing. You're outsourcing expertise. Like, man, I literally can't think of what to write about this week. Oh my gosh, but Dr. Phil can talk about parenting and, marriage and family stuff. Perfect. Thank you. Come talk about this because I can't even think about that. So that's a big part of the value that you bring when you bring content like that, is you fill a gap, expertise they don't have, but often sometimes also just brain space they don't have. They just fill an area in their content calendar.
So I want to know, everybody in chat right now, who is one person that you would love to be promoted by? What's a newsletter, a LinkedIn account, a YouTube account? Who's somebody? Don't go like Tony Robbins, but who's somebody like that you follow or that you're aware of that you would love? Oprah's too big. Come on. Somebody in your world, who would you love to promote you? Who's that person? Whoever they are, it is attainable. Dave Ramsey, attainable. Lauren Sapio, don't know who they are. Attainable. Shane Moan, Digi says. Coach Kelly J. Good. So keep that person in mind as we walk through. Key number 3. Yeah, okay, I get it. Borrowing easier than building, for sure. I get how people are already looking for people in my industry because they need to fill their content schedule, and they're out of ideas. I get how my audience size doesn't matter because the thing I bring to the table is the content that the audience is going to get. But like, this won't work in my industry. Like, it won't work for me. I sell to teachers or I sell to that, and they do that. I sell to people I heard today, literally today. And it's like, yeah, we sell to financial advisors and a bunch of old curmudgeons that aren't online. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, my dad's on Facebook and he's 70 and does telecom and does nothing else on a computer, but he's on Facebook. Think about this like dating. if you're dating and have had a bunch of bad experiences and you can't find anybody, you're like, man, there's no good guys out there. Like, I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying, but the world's a gigantic place. Maybe we need to look in some different areas. So what we have found is that the more niche, the weirder, the deeper the industry, the more likely you are to be able to borrow other audiences in that industry, and that it's already happening. So these are a few industries that we've done this in directly with clients or ourselves: dating for widowed women over 50, board game creation, executive coaching for HR professionals, health and weight loss coach, drone flying for land surveyors, ballroom swing dancing. Here's a couple examples I pulled. This is a lifestyle design coach. Amy Sanders is her name. So that's the industry. I have a partnership call with a lady who immediately wanted to collaborate. Also have 4 sales calls booked for Monday. Who wants 4 sales calls on Monday? Because that's what Amy got as a lifestyle design coach. I don't even know what that is. Here's another one, Tom Jacobs. He's a storytelling coach. I didn't know that was a thing. I sent 10 pitches and got 5 people that said, yes, I want to collaborate with you. In the storytelling coach niche. Here's another one, Casey Lightbody, a career coach. Wrapped up my second lead magnet swap with 159 subscribers and 10 discovery calls booked. Who wants 10 discovery calls? Seriously, like, this works in your industry. We've worked with so many people. Like, we've yet to find the industry this does not work in, because the mechanics are simple. Do they have an audience? Does the audience trust them? That's it. If so, if they promote you, you're going to get eyes, you're going to get hearts, and you'll eventually get wallets from that. Key number 4. All right, Brian, I get it. Works in my industry. People are already looking for it. I need expertise. I want to borrow, not build. But like, what am I going to share with their audience? Like, what's the resource I'm going to share? And here's something I found. You can get super complicated with this. There's all kind of fancy ways you can do this to really outthink the room. But a key I've discovered is the more crunchy and easily digested it is, the better. So think about, I love this picture. Think about every book you've bought. How many of you are like, man, I wish there was more fluff in that book. I wish it took me longer to get to the point.
Yeah.
It's like, we like say the opposite. It's like, man, it was 250-page book that could have been 10 pages long. And I just had to like get through all the fluff. Like, your resource you'll share is similar. Just get rid of all the fluff. What we found is a cheat sheet is the simplest way to do it. A 2 or 3 page cheat sheet that gives them like, hey, if you help people with meal planning, give me the 5 steps. Give me the 5 tips to make meal planning simple. If you help people with getting clients, coaching clients, like, hey, here's the 3 tips you need to get clients. Hey, if you help people with lifestyle design, here's the 3 tips you need to have for lifestyle design. It's whatever the book would be. Just cut 249 of the pages and make it 1 page. Give them the 3-step cheat sheet to do it. Here's an example we did about a month ago. 3 proven steps to build a 6-figure coaching business. We had 125 new email opt-ins, 11 phone calls booked, and 1 new client. 3 steps. That's it. It's the whole thing. The key to giving them the content, the key asset you need to make, you can make in 30 minutes, and it's a cheat sheet. You could do fancy stuff. You can write 5-part video. None of that stuff matters. The crunchier, the simpler it is, the easier it is for the client for the partner you're going to team up with to understand it, for them to share it, and for the subscriber they have to get it and actually hire you. So the key is a crunchy and easily digested resource. A cheat sheet is the simplest of all. In fact, I'm going to give you a next step here in a minute. We're going to give you 4 templates that are really well designed where you can make your cheat sheet in under 30 minutes. It'll make it pretty. Pick the colors you want, put the input you want, and you can have this ready to go and start pitching clients ASAP. All right, last key, key number 5. One of the things I love the most about this is it works quickly because there's no algorithm to master. Think about pretty much every sales channel that exists. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of them require you ranking, Google search, all of them require you running ads or targeting the right keywords or the right audiences or the right whatevers and optimizing the page. And like, there's a period of time of trying to like get to rank, which means you're just going to get eyeballs. All of that means if I get number 1 in Google, then eyeballs are going to see me click and then do the thing I want. Or if I spend enough ads and do it rightly and have the funnel configured correctly, I'm going to have the right eyeballs and people will click and people will do the thing I want, which is hire me. With BOPA, there is no algorithm. There is no fee to rank in, no fee to buy money for. Bob sends the email, people hit your page, they book the call, and they hire you. It works quickly, not because it's magical, because it's simple. There's no There's no social media feed to figure out. There's no content to like master. It's like, Bob sends the email, 700 people see you, and they hire you. Like there's nothing to screw up in that. Here's a couple examples. Jennifer, 3 days in, she got her first partner to say yes. And her first person to be like, I want to promote you. 3 days. That's it. Anjay, get my second yes. So 2 yeses in his first day. No algorithm, no feed to master. So the average time to result, this is based on our experience. If you're running ads, it's going to be 3 to 6 months and money. SEO, 6 to 12 months. Because you got to rank in the feed. YouTube, 6 to 12 months. You got to build the content, you got to master YouTube, you got to be great at video production. All of this is just the basics of any algorithm channel, which is like all of the channels that exist to get clients. BOPA, 14 days. 14 days or less to get somebody to, like a Bob, to say, yes, I want to partner with you. And remember what happened with Bob. 700 people opted in. This is last week for us. We started this whole webinar with this. 700 people opted in, 54 people booked calls, 21 people picked up, 5 people hired us. We collected 25 grand. There is nothing special about me. A guy with a list promoted us. Oprah happened and Dr. Phil showed up. I didn't provide anything to Bob other than a good resource. So zoom out, 2 marketing channels you can pick. Build your audience, get great at funnels, great at algorithms, great at content, become a world-class marketer. That's what's required. There is no other option there. Or do the other channel, which is borrow audiences. Just do what I did with Bob last week. Share your best stuff. Connect with people deeply. Enjoy that process. Like I love teaching like this. I love creating resources and other people sharing them. Your optimization point doesn't become funnels and traffic and conversions and all that stuff. That stuff's fine. There's a place for that. The number one optimization becomes, hey, the 58 people on this webinar right now, am I deeply connecting with you? If I optimize for that, everything else takes care of itself. Big idea here. And by the way, any questions you got, any concerns you got, any doubts you have, I want to hear them. So put them in chat. We're going to we'll be here until we literally answer every question, every concern, every doubt, every scenario. We're not going anywhere. Unless it takes another hour and 15 minutes, in which case my family's going to the fair tonight. We'll leave at 5.
I was about to say, aren't you going to the fair?
But I challenge that nobody will actually ask that many questions. Okay, big idea here. Getting clients is quick and light when you focus on deep personal connection, not funnels, not traffic, not optimizations, not click-through rates and ad spends. And BOPA, borrowing other people's audiences, is the easiest way to do it. You just borrow that deep personal connection from the person that's already built it, just like I did with Bob. Bob's had his blog for 15 years. He has deep personal connection with his audience. And when he vouches for me last week, the trust is transferred and people buy quickly. When Oprah vouched for Dr. Phil, his life changed. Robert Kiyosaki, his life changed. So I want to know from you, do you sense BOPA is the marketing channel you need to hit your revenue goal? I'd be curious. Do we have a poll for this, Cody? We want people to put in chat.
I do, but my Zoom portal
Slap it on.
and it's not letting me launch it.
That's fine. That's okay. So put in chat. Do you sense it? And it's okay if not, by the way. Open hand on all this. There's zero pressure, 0 things to buy on this webinar. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, Will got it.
Yeah, I just launched it.
There we go. All
But
right,
we got plenty of people chatting.
Yeah, good. So interested. By the way, it is okay to say no. I do want, like, my goal here is to help you take a step or 2 towards one of the paths, because that's the best thing you can do. If the goal for you is to get more people to hire you for coaching, which I don't know why you'd be here if not, then choosing a path is important. So if you're a no, that's great, because that means you need to go down the build your audience path. If you're like leaning in, like super in, or like I'm interested, but I need to understand how to work for me, great. Start walking down the build your audience path. Let's do that together. And we'll help you do that and give you some resources and such to do. So it looks like about half the people are so in and the other half are interested. You need to know how it would work for me. Perfect. So the workshop doesn't end here. I'm going to give you, for those of y'all that aren't know, which is everybody so far, although I doubt there's got to be somebody who's not. By the way, if you raised your hand, I don't know what to do with that in this webinar. Put your question in chat. We'll make sure we grab it.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll definitely get it there, but I don't know what to do with a hand raise. All right. So 3-step action guide for you. If you're leaning that direction, leaning in, let's try it on and see what it would look like. So 3-step action guide. Number one, I want to give you a handful of tools. So maybe back up one step. Our business model at Growth Tools is we give away all our tools and training for free, and then 1% of you will hire us to coach you. That's all we want to do. All the tools, all the training. I mean, you got a core training of ours right here, and we do these almost every week on different topics related to growing a coaching business. So we give it all away. And then some of you will be like, man, I love this, and I want to figure it out myself. It's like, awesome, go do that. Let us know if you have any questions. Some of you will be like, man, I want to do that, and I know how hard it is to do new things, and I want you who've done it to walk beside me. Like, if you're actively doing this last week, can you help me like next week to do what Bob did or do what we did with Bob? Like, yes, we want to work with you. Let's do that. So that's how we work, just so you know, being transparent. First step, get our partner discovery guide. This is a 3-page PDF that gives you the exact search queries you need to put in Google to find BOPA partners. People like Bob to promote you, people like Ryan to promote you, people like Oprah to promote you. Okay, so that's one resource we're going to give you for free, a tool. Second thing, we're going to give you lifetime free access to our cheat sheet building software. This software we built from scratch, and it makes it really simple to make really pretty looking cheat sheets that your partners can share. The resource you're gonna swap or they're gonna promote for you, you can make it look pretty really quickly. We're gonna give you a link to that so you can log in and have that free for life. The last thing I want to do, especially for you 14 people or 56% of the people that answered the poll that are in or leaning towards in but need to know how to work for you, everybody here, I want to get on a one-on-one call with you and do a strategy session. Let's learn about your goal, your why. Let's learn about your situation. Let's start crafting your BOPA marketing plan so you can do like we did, like Robert did, like Dr. Phil did, so you can borrow other people's audiences and actually get clients as a result of it. So if you're interested in that, if you want the Partner Discovery Guide, the lifetime free access to our cheat sheet building software, and a one-on-one coaching session, go to growthtools.com/BOPA. Cody will put a link in chat if he hasn't already, and schedule the call with us. As soon as you schedule the call, on the thank you page will be these 2 resources. By the time you get on the call, I want to know, and several of us will take these because there'll be several calls, so more than I can take. But we'll get on the call and we'll learn about your situation. We'll learn about your goal, your why, and start crafting that plan together. By the way, Nana, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. OMG, it's my birthday. My head is exploding. Good, cool, sweet. And if you already scheduled a call, that's fine. Some of y'all might have scheduled from other workshops we do. That's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Will, could you put the link in the chat? Zoom's not letting me.
Yeah, dude, I gotcha.
Cody's having the Zoom shrubs today.
It like froze up all my windows.
That's good. So if you're interested in BOPA, next step, either go off and do it, which is fine, stiff arm it, which is totally fine as well, or lean in, grab 2 of our best tools to help you with BOPA, how to find partners. We'll give you the exact search queries. We'll give you the cheat sheet building software we use to make it look pretty, host it and everything. And we'll even talk to you one-on-one to learn more about you, start crafting your plan. And if it makes sense, we'll tell you about our coaching program and invite you in to be coached by us. And zero pressure on that. We're the opposite of high pressure in every single way. How do we get the tools if we already scheduled? That's a good question. We're working on a link to make that easy, but we should probably do that, Cody, by the way, especially for these internal ones. Well, what do you want to do for people? Maybe schedule it and then just cancel the call. I don't think we have a way to like get around it. So we're on the
Yeah.
call schedule thing.
I would say
If
for
you already
now,
got-
yeah, for now you can schedule it and totally just cancel the call. It's not a big deal at all. For
Yeah.
now. Of course, no problem.
Nana, I tell you what, you had problems getting your freebies yesterday. Email Cody at growthtools.com and he will directly give them to you in email. You had some problems with resources, he'll just give them to you one-on-one, but you have to email Cody at growthtools.com. For some reason, his computer's not working, so he can't even type that in chat. Just email him and he'll get you everything. Just tell him what you need. He'll respond quickly, get you your stuff. Sometimes tech gets weird and try to handle all those situations. All right, let's go just a little bit of Q&A. Will, Cody, any questions in chat? I wasn't paying attention in the last 20 minutes or so. I was just talking, but any questions in chat that we want to surface and answer?
I haven't seen any in particular, but I do a
Oh,
couple
I saw one.
Yeah, go ahead, Cody.
Someone was mentioning like, okay, yeah, I want to do this, but like, what do I actually share if I do a partnership?
Yeah, that's good.
I think it was
I go back to key number 4, a 3-part cheat sheet. So how do you do what you do? What if they're in, whoever asked that, feel free to put in chat, like, and everybody just put right now, I'm just curious, we'll just workshop this real time, by the way. I love doing this. Like,
Yeah.
we can talk about the theory. Let's just do it. So whoever wants to brainstorm this real time, somebody raise their hand real quick, put in chat me if you want us to like brainstorm your resource people would share like right now. Me. Great. Marcy gets it
Yeah.
first. So Marcy, what problem do you solve for someone? Somebody hires you. What problem do you solve for them? So put that in chat. We'll build this out. Can I schedule your strategy session too? Yes. growthtools.com/BOPA and you can grab it. Yeah, there you go. Click that link. We'll just put in chat. Marcy, what problem do you solve for people? This is gonna be anticlimactic if we don't hear back from Marcy. So I'll talk while Marcy collects her thoughts. Once you answer what problem you solve, actually, I'll do it. Maybe we'll stop. I'm gonna. One reason I love sharing slides like this is we can just do stuff on the fly here.
Here, Cody. Let's see. Tracy has one here.
Here, Marcy, I help audit
she
adults
answered.
recognize when they are running their inner child or internalized critical parent. That's not a problem, though. That's a thing you help them do. What's the problem that exists in their life? Thus, they must do that to fix the problem. So I make it, yeah, I think that's the question we want to answer. And by the way, that's a key question. Almost no one can answer that question well. It's the reason I ask it that way, because it pulls out of you what you really do. Most people answer, what do you do with the tool that you have? I don't care about your tool, nor does anybody actually. What we care about, like I didn't call this webinar the BOPA webinar, that's our tool. I called it the how to get clients because that's what you want. So somebody asked me, what do you do? I'd be like, oh, I help coaches get clients. Not, I teach people to do BOPA. Nobody even knows what that is. Quit living their life from past hurts. So maybe I would say the problem is, here we go. And Cody and Will, y'all feel free to chime in. We make it almost impossible, and I'm answering from Mark, to fail at healing past hurts so you don't sabotage your relationships and career. Something like that. That's probably the actual problem is probably doing stupid stuff in relationships, not intentionally, just like, reacting knee-jerk reactions and emotionally and whatever, and it's just hurting your marriage, hurting your parenting, hurting your family relationships, friends relationships. So that's probably the problem you solve. So the next question I would ask you would be, how do you solve it? Like literally, what do you do? What's the magic sauce? Step 1, step 2, step 3. So Marcy, what's the magic sauce? And by the way, all this is leading up to the question or somebody asked, I think Marcy, which is what's the resource that I would give to a partner for them to promote? So we're just making that real time here. So Marcy, what are your 3 steps? And I maybe will make some up here and assume some things. Step 1 is identify the hurts, or maybe admit there are hurts. 2, find them. 3, process them. Something like that is probably the step, something fairly close. I've done a lot of therapy, so there's probably something close to that. So then your cheat sheet becomes, let's do it here. Sorry, this is kind of clunky, but we're going to get here. We're going to call the title something like 3 tips, stop sabotaging your relationships. No, that might be a name. Let's go with another title in the positive. 3 simple steps to turn around the most difficult relationships in your life. That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty close. This is copy written on the fly, so polish it up a little bit. 3 simple steps to turn around the most difficult relationships in your life. Now, your tool is processing these past hurts. They don't really care about that. They just know I have these relationships that are very hard and I want them to not be hard. I want to get along with my mother-in-law. I want to get along with my husband. I want to get along with the kid who's super difficult. What you know is that most likely a past hurt is causing them to think and act weird and cause that to be exacerbated at the least or caused at the best or the worst. How do you do it? First, you get them to identify past hurts, right? Admit there are hurts. Second, find those exact hurts, and 3, process them out. So your cheat sheet becomes titled The 3 Simple Steps to Turn Around the Most Difficult Relationships in Your Life. And page 1 of it is admit their hurts. And there's going to be 2 or 3 sentences on this. Step 2 is going to be find them. How do you find them? Step 3, admit them. First, say out loud. There are most likely hurts in my life from my dad, from my mom, from my siblings, from other people that have caused me to start thinking and acting in ways that aren't healthy. Just say that out loud. Step 1, admit you have a problem. Second thing, find them. Give them a couple prompts. Think back to your childhood, age 1 through 10, and what were some of the most difficult times? And what was the hurt that existed that you think stuck with you? Say them out loud. Give them a little writing template. Step 3, process them, and whatever your process is to process them out. So all your guide's going to be is a paragraph for this, a paragraph for this, and a paragraph for that. Now you have a 3-page guide that is 3 simple steps to turn around the most difficult relationships in your life. That whole thing takes you less than an hour to write, and bam, you could pitch that to me. Think about that. Would I promote that guide? Seemingly, well, I have an audience of people that are interested in marketing and entrepreneurship and everything. Well, do they have difficult relationships in their life that are making it hard to run their business? Yeah. Team members, spouses, family members degrading them, saying they can never do it. Like, what if all of a sudden every relationship in their life is healthy and active and thriving? Boy, their chance of success as a coach goes way up, because that's probably one of the things that's the hardest, right? So you could partner with us. You could partner with Bob. What's sabotaging your finances? I mean, one key part of it is probably relationships that cause you to think weird and then cause you to do stupid financial stuff. So if you get every person on Bob's list to admit their hurts, find them, process them out, and turn around their relationships to make them positive, man, what would it look like to have a thriving community of people pouring into you, speaking into your finance life to make you better? Well, that'd be great, right? So this would be your cheat sheet. Your cheat sheet. This is the outline. You'd spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes writing out the paragraph or 2 under each one of these things, which you can do, by the way, because this is your expertise. Now, I don't know if you teach it quite this way. I'm making up some of this stuff, but hopefully that helps. Sorry. Every webinar we get someone that says I talk too fast. That's totally my bad. I get excited and get going. How's that feel, Marcy? Would you be confident in that resource? I'm curious, everybody else watching and listening can you imagine what your resource would be? I'm going to go to something real quick, by the way. We'll flip around here. Yeah, this is the template. I make it easy to blank for blank, and I do that by 1, 2, 3. That's your template. I was trying to remember it off the phone. I'm going to put it in chat for everybody. Y'all fill in the blank. I make it easy to have healthy relationships. 4, we didn't cover this part specifically in my example with Marcy. We need to get specific. All humans is too many people. All women is too many people. It's half the planet. 4, online entrepreneurs. And I do that by helping them realize they have hurts, find their exact hurts, and process them out. So y'all write y'all's version of this real quick. Here's an example from me. I make it easy to get high-ticket clients, 4 coaches. And I do that by helping them find a list to promote them, create a simple resource, and get it promoted. Cool. Now I can make a guide out of that pretty simply. By the way, the next step would be to turn that into, like, write out each step. So to do that, this is getting super weedy, but we're here, so why not? And by the way, we're going to pause a minute and zoom out, and Will's going to walk us through a few things that are kind of interesting here in a second. So find a list to promote them, write out the what, the why, and the how. So for us, for instance, this is relevant because you're learning about this, so you'll learn about more of what we're talking about. Find a list to promote them. You'll spend 30 minutes finding newsletters that have your best fit clients in them. Why? Every influencer and company needs 2 things: great content and more followers. They have a publishing schedule to meet and an audience to grow. You can help them do this with your resource. How? One of my go-tos for finding lists to promote your clients is a particular newsletter directory. And by the way, in that cheat sheet, I'm going to give you a bunch of these as well. So this is my cheat sheet. By the way, I write it out and then we just put it in the tool we're going to give you, and it designs it up and make it look really pretty. So anyway, we train you how to do all this and everything. I want to zoom out for a second for those of y'all that are here and tell you, we don't do this to a fault, by the way. A lot of y'all don't know what we do. We train and everything. We give away our training, give away our tools. But we have a coaching program that coaches you and makes it almost impossible to fail to do everything we've talked about today. So Will, why don't you kind of walk us through our coaching program? Is called Growth University. Walk us through kind of how it works.
Yeah, sure. And if anybody wants to, note that they want to listen to this, then listen to this. And if you don't want to listen to this, we're already 8 after, so like hop off. You're more than welcome to hop off. I just want to invite that. Man, Brian, I think the first thing most people need is like the model to actually get this off the ground. You're hearing a lot of questions. How would I fulfill this? How would I even do this? What would the coaching look like? All that kind of stuff, right? And then like, who do I go after? How do I find the partners? Who would the partners be? Who's my best fit customer? I don't even know. How narrow should I get? Is this too narrow? Is it too broad? These are all questions that have been asked today. Brian, you've covered a little bit of them. That's what we do. That's the very first thing we do when clients hire us. They come to us because they have an idea in their mind of what they want out of their business, but they don't have the granularities of an actual business model and a true marketing plan. And so we do that for you in the first like 2 weeks after you hire us. We just develop that, create that, show you based on your goals, your needs, your desires, what your business actually can and should look like. Then we go and we give you the trainings live on Zoom several times a week and the actual playbooks to install this thing. Brian, I'm sure you have probably used this metaphor before, but like none of our clients are test rats. They're not dummies, right?
Yeah.
We actually are the test dummy.
Mhm.
So we test the stuff, we fail a lot. And then sometimes Cody stays up till 1 a.m. and we figure out what works. And we pass that over to you. And guys, we've been doing this for, Brian, how long? 12 years now? I've been with you for 8, but like
Yep.
12 years of growth tools, right? So we've been figuring
2013.
out what doesn't and what does work for more than a decade. And we've built those into what we call playbooks. So we just give you the copy and paste templates, the how-tos to literally go stick it into your business while we train you live. So if you're into live training, if you're into the shortcuts, if you're into not being a lab rat and trying to figure stuff out on your own, that's a big piece of this program. But here's the other part, Brian, I like to say this too when I work with clients. We don't just want you doing this on your own in a silo, right? We want you to be with a community of other people like you who are working through the goods, the bads, and the uglies together. That's our community side of things. And we want you to be inside of the coaching. This is unlimited coaching. We talked about relationships earlier. So FaceTime is a really big deal for us. Brian, Cody, I love seeing y'all's faces, but no offense, I want to see our clients' faces. I want to be with them, right? I do live trainings. I do live coaching sessions Tuesdays and Thursdays. You get unlimited access multiple times a day. Any point in time you want to hop in, you've got FaceTime with a legit coach, a real business professional who knows your business, knows what you're working through, and can guide you through what to do next. When you want to bang your head against a wall, just hop on a live call. And if it's something quick and simple, 30, 40% of the time, just shoot us a ping, send us an email, send us a video. We'll send you a how-to right back. So you literally have a guide, a coach in your corner at all points in time, which is cool. But Brian, you mentioned earlier the community side of things. You mentioned like a couple of people looking for partners. That's my favorite part about our mastermind. Like we do a ton in our mastermind. We do live trainings. We have the best feedback loops ever. Like post a piece of content, we'll get torn to shreds like piranhas. They'll tell you good, what's bad, what's ugly, right? But the community, one of my favorite parts is just the networking aspect. You're able to find these partners, potential partners who have your audience in this community that want to partner with you. It's really cool. Did you tell Gil's story earlier, Brian?
I don't think so.
So
Which one's
Gil
Gil? I don't remember Gil.
is a kind of a grief coach that
Yeah.
helps parents whose dogs have died. So pet
Oh,
parents, right? Their dogs have recently died. Gil partnered with another client of ours who is a holistic veterinarian.
Mm.
And Gil had like 50 discovery calls booked on his calendar.
Whoa.
And so, yeah, that's the first whoa, right? I don't even know what I'm
Sounds
going to
good.
do with that. But here's the thing, Gil's different than you. Like Susan, you may be like, bro, what? I only want to work 25 hours a week in my business, and I only need to have like 3 clients a month to hit my goal of 15K.
Yeah.
That's you. For Gil, he wants to knock the doors down to be at like 35 grand. So Gil's all in, right? Coaching and community, really big deal. And then if you want it, we also have another component in this program where we'll teach you how to fish, but also we'll just fish for you. So a lot of our clients want to go fast and they want to get results quickly. They want to learn, but they also want to get the results now. And in this case, we have a whole entire team of partnership specialists who literally will go find 10 best fit partners for you every month and draft pitches for them. All you have to do is press copy and paste. Last I checked on that, Brian, I think we average like 50 to 60% yes response rate, which means like 5 or 6 of the 10 are going to respond back to you and say, hey, I want you to share this with my audience. Hey, I want to do this thing. What an awesome opportunity for you to have your very first partnership, 4 or 5 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So this is Growth University. Brian and I have been building this thing. Brian's been building this for more than 12 years. I've been on top of this with him for more than 8 years. And if you're at all interested, I'll actually just send over the chat. You can head over to growthtools.com. It's up here, obviously. /BOPA. book a time, get the resources. If you're interested in coaching, note that you're interested in your application. If you're like, bro, I don't want to talk about coaching, note that you don't want to talk about coaching in your application because
Yeah,
we don't force you to
totally
talk
agree.
about something you don't want to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, I think I figured out what the hand raising thing is. If anybody wants to ask a question live, like with your voice, press hand raise wherever that button is, and we'll bring you on because
No way.
we love chatting. Yeah, apparently you can do that. I lowered one person's hands because I think it's been raised for a while, so I don't know if it's real. Yeah, we
Somebody
can.
raise their hand and ask a question live. I think that's awesome. I didn't even know that was a feature.
Yeah, I
I
kept
lowered
seeing.
a lot of people's hands today.
That's our
Sorry,
bad.
guys. I had no idea.
We'll figure this out. We're the grandma that needs help plugging the printer in. Yeah, so if anybody has a question, wants to jump on live and ask, feel free to raise your hand. If not, throw it in chat. If you have any doubts about BOPA, about how it would work for you, about your industry, about what you would share, let us know. Nana C gets the super fan of the day chat. Nana C, where are you from? Where do you live? I'm curious. What part of the country, what part of the world are you in? We want to get to know you a little bit better. Appreciate you being here, Nana C. Yeah, so just as a last FYI, if anybody has a question, put it in chat or raise your hand if you want to jump on live. If not, go to growthtools.com/BOPA. Grab your free tools. Get the partnership discovery guide, the search queries to find partners, get the lifetime free access to the cheat building software, and go schedule a one-on-one strategy session, growthtools.com/BOPA. Does this only work for coaching? No, it works for literally almost anything. You can see this happening all around now that your eyes are open from DC. Sweet. Awesome. It works for anything. We sell coaching and we help coaches primarily, people that teach things online. So that's kind of what we hyper focus our examples on. But yeah, I mean, Robert Kiyosaki sold $5 million of books with it. And you see examples all over the place. So that's awesome. Thanks for being here, Patrick. Appreciate
LC,
what's
also
up.
the consulting side too. There's a good many people who kind of just do it for folks rather than coaching, and that's a similar model, but a little more hands-on.
That's right. How would you translate this for large healthcare organizations that I want to purchase my service? Yeah, so
Oh,
it's about like go ahead, Will. You've seen
Brian,
your
Trace had a question earlier. She said she helps health, or he or she, I'm not sure, helps healthcare leaders reduce burnout and increase retention on their clinical teams.
yeah, he
Also has a podcast that helps clinical leaders learn how to generate a safe space in the middle of clinical chaos. So, professional coach and consultant, works full time at a healthcare organization, trying to get the business off the ground. Question is, how would you suggest that they use BOPA, especially when their customers are government health authorities?
Yeah, the main thing is where are they already? So think about this like fishing. You can guess where the fish are, or you can just go to where they're at. Like literally the way to catch fish. I mean, this is like brain dead simple. Where are they at? What are they eating? So then you go to where they're at and you give them what they're eating on a hook and you catch them. So the question is, where are they at online? Where they are already on email list, YouTube video, like they are on list and blogs and websites and social media accounts already. They exist there. We need to find what those are. So there's one or two ways you can do that. Go to the Partner Discovery Guide. You can go there and start searching around and find it. Also, if you hire us, we'll just go find them for you. Like we'll do the done for you outreach, find where they're at, and you can put your resource in front of them. So think about the resource as the bait. You just need to know where to dangle it. Like what pot do you put it in? Where are they at online already? So first we got to find them, then we got to put the right bait in front of them and they bite. So that would be the basic. So for you, it might look like what's a association that these people like a lot of times in big organizations, there's associations that they're required to be at for ongoing learning credits. What are
Yeah,
those? You
yeah.
could be the live training that they watch on the webinar or in person once a year, once a quarter, once a week, or whatever the cadence is. So when we're fishing for you, we're going to ask you a bunch of questions to learn your product and your best fit client, who the buyer is really well. And then we're just simply going to go out and find where they're at. Then we're going to help you make a simple resource for them to put in front of them. And they bite and they close. So that's the basics. And Trace, thank you for knowing you're a male. That's good. Sometimes you don't know. You get named as like, I don't really know what that
I
is.
didn't know Trace. At first I said Tracy, and he was like, no, it's just Trace. So,
I
yeah.
think Trace was here. I feel like I've seen Trace's name. I feel like you've been here a time or two. So good to see you, Trace. I'm pretty sure I've tried to pronounce your name before and butchered it. So that's my bad. All
Hey,
right.
my last name's DeShazo, and Brian butchered it for 5 years, so don't worry. Are there packages
Seals.
for tiers of your offers, or is it all or nothing? No, CL, you can book a call. So there's a couple different offers depending on what you would want and when you'd want to join, and like in terms of deliverables and things. So our team can tell you about that. No worries.
Yep. Yeah, based on where you're at, you can like done for you is an optional thing. So it starts at $500 a month and goes up from there. And there's some setup fees and different things based on where you're at and how big the organization is and offer stage and all that stuff. But we try to tailor it for like literally where you at and what'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want people not working with us because of money. If you're absolutely bought in and convicted and want to work with us, like we will do anything within reason to make that happen. Not because like we're trying to get more people, but because like if you're all in, I want to be all in with you. So we customize things to fit just based on where you're at. We used to not do that at all. Now we do that. So like you can't get the whole kitchen sink if you can't afford anything. So you have to have one or two things to grow. Time or money. If you have both, you can go fast. If you got one or the other, you can go far. But you might not go as fast. So if you got both, you'll just speed along a little faster. But if you got some elbow grease to add in, some sweat equity to add in, man, you can make it work. So all right, we'll end with this. growthtools.com/BOPA. Get the partner discovery guide, get lifetime free access to the cheat sheet building software, schedule your one-on-one strategy session. It's all free. While you're on there, we're going to learn about you, your goals, your why. We're going to help you start making your BOPA marketing plan. And if it makes sense, we're going to tell you more about Growth University and what it would look like to be coached by us, what that would look like, what it would cost, the configuration that makes sense in your specific situation, and invite you in if that's something you're interested in. If not, no big deal. growthtools.com/BOPA. I think that's it, guys. Any last things to share before we log off?
Thanks for being here, everybody. Cody, Brian, appreciate you guys. It's good.
Nana, growthtools.com/BOPA. Go there. We're not going to call you or email you. You got to be able to go there and book a session. We love you. Go there.
Mean
All
it.
right. See y'all.
Good stuff. See you guys.